This incident in El Paso is the second active shooter situation in just 1 week after the Gilroy Garlic Festival shooting in California left 3 dead. Now, News Side's Veronica Vernaccio joins us live from the newsroom with more from the Pima County Sheriff's Department on what they would do if something like this were to happen here. Veronica?
Taja, that's right. In just 1 week, 2 communities are mourning. And even though we haven't seen anything quite like this in our community since 2011, when an active shooter took place at a Safeway for a meet and greet for then Congresswoman Gabrielle Gifford that left 6 dead and 13 injured, the Pima County Sheriff's Department tells me that they are ready at a moment's notice for situations like this. They say that they have active training situations year-round at schools and businesses. And even though they don't want people to live in fear, they say if you are caught in the middle of a situation quite like this, to remember to first run if you can, but to always just be aware of your surroundings.
If you are in a situation and you're caught in between an active shooter and not having a way out, do everything in your power to find a safe place.
Deputies say this means finding a place where you're not seen, but as a last resort to try to fight back. Now, the Sheriff's Department says that people can sign up for these active training simulations, and to do that, just reach out to their community resource center. They will help you set up an action plan for situations like this. And if you would like more information on that, you can go to our website, kgun9.com. Back to you in the studio.
Veronica, thank you. KGUN 9 does have a live crew on the way to El Paso right now. Not on your sides, Craig Smith will join us at 10 o'clock tonight with updates from the scene. And you can also stay up to date on our website, kgun9.com, and follow us on social media. So let's go ahead and get to our first warning weather with Brian Brennan. And so some parts of the area had a pretty active storm day.
That's right. You know, pretty much if you were outside of the Tucson area, there were plenty of storms going around today. Let's take a look at the radar currently. You can see there's a lot of activity still going on around Sells and in Sierra Vista and Tombstone as well. You know, earlier today we did have several severe thunderstorm warnings in several locations, including an area southeast of Vail. But something interesting also happened today. The cumulus clouds, you know, those big anvil type clouds, they form, and then the upper level winds oftentimes will push them in the direction the storm is going. Notice the cloud cover over Tucson. That cloud cover kind of held back any activity from happening in Tucson. Still possible to get some sprinkles coming in. You can see some light green on the radar there, but for the most part it looks like any thunderstorm activity will be very limited in the metro area. But we do still have several areas of concern. There are severe thunderstorms going around Tombstone, like I mentioned, northwest of Wilcox, and around Sierra Vista we do have a flood advisory until 6:30 p.m. Some of those storms dropped an inch of rain in 1 hour. Other storms had some hail involved. You notice all the cloud cover over Tucson right now with a temperature right now of 94 degrees. We'll have much more coming up in the full forecast. Taja.
Thank you, Brian. When we come back, more on the El Paso shooting with an emotional message from a Democratic presidential candidate who's an El Paso native, and more reactions pouring in on social media. Stay with us. You're watching KGUN 9 on your side. Welcome back. We continue to follow the shooting in El Paso that witnesses say started in a Wlamrt parking lot. Here's a live look from the scene right now. At least 20 people have died and dozens more are injured. A suspected gunman has been arrested. He has been identified as a 21-year-old North Texas man. Right now, authorities are looking into a social media post allegedly made by the suspect. In the meantime, 2020 Democratic presidential candidate Beto O'Rourke, an El Paso native, is speaking out about the shooting that happened in his hometown.
I've got to share something with you.
I'm incredibly saddened, and it is very hard to think about this. But I'll tell you, El Paso is the strongest place in the world. This community is going to come together. I'm going back there right now to be with my family and to be with my hometown.
The Wlamrt near the shooting posted a tweet offering its condolences, saying, quote, "We're in shock over the tragic events at Cielo Vista Mall in El Paso, where store 2201 and club 6502 are located. We're praying for the victims, the community, and our associates, as well as the first responders. We're working closely with law enforcement and will update as appropriate." Meantime, the Red Cross in El Paso has put out a call for blood donations. The Red Cross chapter in Arizona, New Mexico, and El Paso tweeted, saying in part, "Our thoughts and prayers are with those affected by the shooting incident in El Paso. We are working with the local emergency officials as well as providing emotional support through our disaster mental health volunteers." KGUN 9 does have a live crew headed to the scene right now. 9 on your sides, Craig Smith will have more coming up at 10. We will also continue to follow this developing story on KGUN9.com plus our social media pages. Now, before heading to break, Brian is here with the preview of your Sunday forecast. Brian?
You know, we do have some severe storms and some flooding in some areas. We'll tell you more about that and when we could see some storms in Tucson coming up.
Plus, on the day of another mass shooting, Navy football is changing its motto for this season. Details next on KGUN 9 on your side.
First Warning Weather is brought to you by Hamstra Heating and Cooling.
So, Brian, we still have some storms popping up on the radar.
Yeah, there's still a lot of activity on the radar. I wanted to start off with this picture sent in by Tammy. Thank you very much.
Beautiful.
What she said when she sent it in was, "What will hit me first, the heat or monsoon?" And this time of year, Tammy, it is almost always the heat. So please be careful. Drink lots of water out there. The temperatures combined with the humidity making for an abnormally uncomfortable weekend. 94 degrees, though, currently from our sky cam. You can see the cloud cover actually helped block out the sun a little bit. 60-degree dew point, 32% humidity. Might even see some virga or some light showers off in the distance. We'll get to the radar in just a minute. 74 in Nogales, cooled off thanks to those showers. 82 in Sierra Vista, obviously to the north and west of Tucson, looking hot. 110 in Phoenix, Lake Havasu City, 113 degrees. Wow. So again, looking at the radar, it looks pretty active at this moment. You can see in western Pima County some good storms happening there. You can see a good thunder cell there, and that activity is moving west. They have good conditions over there with the clearer skies to get some thunderstorms popping up. Also, Sierra Vista saw some real good thunderstorm activity and still seeing just to the east a good thunder cell there as well. Bisbee had a severe thunderstorm warning. Most areas, those severe storms warnings has lifted, but we still see some activity on the radar. There you can see south of Tucson, it looks like some sprinkles, and then a little bit further south near Sahuarita to the west, a light shower happening. But the cloud cover really inhibited the storm development in the Tucson area. Like I said, there's still some areas of concern. That stronger thunderstorm that we were just looking at around Sierra Vista, that dropped about an inch of rain in 1 hour, so that makes for some flooding concerns. That flood advisory until 6:30 p.m. That also includes Bisbee and Tombstone areas as well, with those strong thunderstorms and how much rain fell. Even if the thunder has moved on, the rain takes a while to work its way out. 104 or 105 degrees tomorrow with a 20% chance of storms in the afternoon. Next few afternoons we'll have a chance of thunder, and you can see that kind of reflected in the forecasted high temperatures tomorrow in Cochise County. 91 expected in Sierra Vista, and a hot and muggy day in Tucson. 105 forecasted, 106 in Oro Valley and Marana. This looks a lot like what we showed you last weekend. The high pressure over us bringing the unusually warm weather that will move off to the east. That helps wrap the moisture into our area. We'll also have a disturbance coming in which will provide some lift. So we'll likely once again, like we saw earlier or later in the work week, last work week, we saw a storm come in, and it came in from the south to north. So I think we're going to see that again. 105 on Sunday, 104 on Monday. We finally get back down to about normal, and we see our monsoon chances going up starting Wednesday. We get into the upper 90s the following few days. Jason?
All right, thank you, Brian. Arizona football held its first scrimmage of fall camp this morning. 3 weeks from today, the Wildcats will strap on their helmets in the opener, which will be at Hawaii. Now to a story that coincidentally happened before today's mass shooting in El Paso. Navy football is changing its motto for the season from load the clip to win the day. Navy coach Ken Niumatuolo, who was recently in Tucson for Dick Tomey's memorial, expressed concern during media day. There was a mass shooting at an Annapolis newspaper newsroom last year, and that paper found load the clip to be insensitive. Win the Day was first made famous by Oregon football. Well, this summer, I've been taking a look back at our favorite stories over the years in a segment called In the Vault. Today, a look back at a look back. The Cleveland Indians held their spring training, that is, in Tucson from 1947 to 1992. Former KGUN 9 sports reporter Sabrina Dorsey has our story from High Corbett Field.
The Cleveland Indians are hitting the field for the last time in Tucson. They first trotted onto the diamond 46 years ago, the spring of 1947. Back then, there wasn't a Cactus League. No teams trained in Arizona. They all worked out in Florida. But Tucson businessman Roy Drachman was friends with Indians owner Bill Veeck. Drachman is a big baseball fan and talked Veeck into making the move.
I'd call him up and I'd say, Bill, isn't this good? As good weather as Florida has? And he said, yeah. And I said, well, why don't we, you should bring your Cleveland Indians team here. And he says, well, maybe one day.
That one day came. Cleveland came to Tucson as the New York Giants agreed to spring train in Phoenix, and it launched the Cactus League.
I'm sorry to see them leave, but that's one of those things. They've been here a long time. They've been here for 46 years. That's pretty good.
Cleveland has struggled in recent years, but the team went to the World Series back in 1948 and 1954. A lot of Hall of Famers played Tucson. Bob Feller